Is your kitchen just not big enough? Do you not have any space in your kitchen? I wouldn't call my kitchen small, but I definitely call it an inefficient use of space, a bad design. I'm going to show you a couple ways to get around that. Some of them involve spending a little bit of money, and some of them just involve changing the way you think about space. So first, I'd like to show you what the show looks like from the other side. I generally have my two lights right here. Down in front of me, I have a music stand with my show notes on it. Those are going to be available on my Patreon. If anyone wants to kind of get inside my head, know how I set up episodes, know how I set up my recipes, and that's all there really is to it. Two lights, and I turn on the overhead light. I took these out because it's the most horrible light in the world. This space here you never see on camera. It is a space available to me, but generally that's where I stage the show. That's where the camera's sitting. That's where any ingredients that are off the screen are sitting. So 3 days out of the week, this is really kind of unavailable to me. Now this is really the only good cupboard in the place, and it's where all of the dishes are. And I say that because we come over here back to where the show is filmed and look at these ridiculous cupboards. This one is very skinny. This one is very skinny. This one is very skinny. And it's the same thing on the bottom as well. So how do I get around all this goofiness? Well, tip number one is to create a space for every idea. You see, one thing I can't stand are cupboards crammed with stuff. Now, my answer to it was to take the doors off of the cupboards. If everything's a shelf, I'm cleaning it more often, I can see everything, and so nothing has a chance to get cluttered. That's just me. Work out your own strategy. When I moved in with my girlfriend, she didn't like that idea. So this is what we came up with together. And by together, I do mean mostly her. Because there's a cupboard up here, I can't really keep anything on top of the refrigerator. There's the tape that I label things with and things to write on the tape with, and a few sheet trays. And that's really all I can keep up here. I can't keep a box of cereal up here. I can't keep bread up here because the doors swing open. And then it's really too far up to reach, so I either have to get on this ladder, which I'm doing now, or another way to do it is just to grab this basket. And then I have all my flowers. But the point is the organization and the mindset and the grouping of ideas. Over here, I have all my flowers, so I know if I need a flower of some sort, I'm gonna grab this basket. Over here is everything else baking, so I know that if I'm baking something, I'm probably gonna grab both of these baskets. Over here, I have mixes. Now, those can be either mixes in a box or things that I just generally don't use very much. And over here, I have my label even says stuff that's a little more weird. So I have sodium citrate, I have xanthan gum, I have shiitake mushroom powder. Kitchen project stuff that I want to have on hand, but that I don't need all the time. And I guess the really important thing is that I label it. That's a recurring theme that you'll see throughout this video. It's just so that I know where things go, and also if somebody else is putting something away, they know where it goes too. Continuing on one idea, this isn't labeled, but I have all of my containers organized. Now, we only use glass containers. You guys have seen the bowls before. I gravitate towards the bowls. My girlfriend brought in the squares. But the thing I wanted to show you was this lid containers, this lid organizer. We've got, you know, it's a little disheveled right now. All the lids are bumping up against one another, but it's a lifesaver, and I'll keep it all the way up here because I don't want to pull down individual glass containers from all the way up here. I'd rather pull down one container of lids. Now we come to what's behind me on the show, all right? And just for the record, I absolutely hate the microwave. I use it to warm up my coffee because it's convenient, but I got this, okay, in my old apartment, I chose not to have a microwave, and through a combination of making stovetop espresso and keeping a kettle of water on, I was always able to add enough cool and or hot water to the stovetop espresso, no matter what temperature it got, to have myself a hot cup of coffee. So I really wish this wasn't here. I really wish that I had more efficient cabinet space. And with these skinny drawers, you kind of need to give them themes. You don't want to be digging through for multiple different ideas. This one is pasta and hot sauce made it into here. I also have my salt bowl I keep in here so the cats don't knock it around. That happens way too often. And this one is tea and travel mugs. Very similar ideas. More space-saving techniques. I have these little drawers in here, and I know that you can fit more stuff in a cabinet without the drawers. I just don't want to dig for stuff. Each cubby kind of gets its own idea. I don't have to dig for stuff. Less stuff goes to waste because I know where it is. Under the sink. This one was a toughie. Now, if you'll notice, there is a garbage disposal right here and a couple pipes coming down right there. And we thought that we were going to be able to get 2 of these. But in fact, the area where the garbage disposal is a little bit skinnier than this. So we ended up having to go with this guy here. Now, the genius behind all of this is that these are held on with command strips. I do have to get down and press them back onto each other once in a while, but it is a huge time and space saver. A few more space saving techniques that I use are using this magnetic bar for my knives, and utensils that I use often go right in this cookie jar. I also drink coffee every day, so I keep my coffee utensils out next to my scale, which I also use close to every day. I don't have a coffee pot. Usually the home coffee pot isn't made very well. It's not able to be dialed in for a really good cup of coffee. What I have instead are small utensils where I can sort of customize my coffee and I don't have to sacrifice a huge amount of counter space to a machine. This baking rack was front and center in my last apartment. If you haven't seen some of those shows, I'll link something somewhere so you can go back and take a look. Bottom row and 2 boxes that I got from Costco that fits nicely on the bottom row. One is my juicer and the other one is my blender. Both things have a lot of parts and I want to keep them together. Second shelf, enameled cast iron. I like to keep it out so that I remember to use it. I want to use it. It's beautiful. It works amazingly. Third shelf, we have some appliances that we don't really use all the time with our liquid measuring cups in the front. I have a toaster oven here. At my old place, my oven didn't really work that well, so I used the toaster oven for quite a few things. And then I just have a couple mandolin options right here. Generally though, I'm using a chef's knife. The beauty of the baking rack really comes up here because I can hang all of these sort of ideas together. Everything that's meant for beating and for straining and for scooping is up here. I have cast iron in many forms, stainless steel in many forms, and then the non-stick. And then these over here are what I probably reach for most often. Honing rod, microplane zester, kitchen shears, measuring cups. And on top again, you're gonna get sick of me saying this, things I almost never use. Having a bar too is a real big space saver. I put my salt and pepper shaker up here because the cats knock them over all the time, but they don't come up on the bar. I've got alcohol related books. I have my bar tools, so I don't need to store those in the kitchen. Anything that can be stored on the bar neatly should be stored on the bar. Excessive glassware. I like to keep it very minimalistic in the kitchen. I have my soda stream up here because the cats like to knock around these bottle caps. Why don't I keep the bottle caps on my bottles, do you ask? I don't keep anything on anything. Lids on Tupperware, lids on mason jars. It all creates a micro environment where bacteria can flourish. Don't believe me? Take the lid off of something that's been storing for a while and smell it. And then anything that can be remotely cocktail related, honey, agave nectar, maraschino cherries, grenadine. There's a turmeric and ginger switchel back there. Anything I don't have to keep in the kitchen, I don't want to. I have a specific dirty laundry bin for towels that come from the kitchen. It's got holes in it so that when the towel is wet, I can drape it over this and let it dry out, and it's already where it needs to be. And then you've seen this, you've seen my kitchen cart that I always use on the show. I store my stock pots underneath, and then it has drawers in it, and I'll store kitchen related things like my blowtorch. And then when it's not in use, it'll get pushed back here by the refrigerator on the other side. And right now I've got my cheese stuff on it, getting ready to film another cheese episode. Inside the fridge, same idea. Things are organized according to what they are, and you'll notice that most things are up under this ingredients category. I want to be cooking fresh food, and I want to be cooking often. I don't buy many things like sandwich meat, like deli meat. It's way too easy to throw this between two pieces of bread and have that cheat, have that meal that I don't have to cook. And I want this in there, just not a lot of it. All right, buddy, here we go. For kittens, when dad's on the floor, it's time to play. Just sit there. Just sit there, buddy. Just sit there. You'll notice looking around, there's not a lot that's ready right now. And I am at the end of a shopping cycle, so it does look a little sparse, but it's going to be the same idea. If you want to see that episode, if you want to see my grocery haul, my weekly sort of grocery routine, let me know. Like the video. If the video gets enough likes, I'll do that video. The sections I have my fridge in are ingredients and snacks. We have dairy and cooked protein. I have raw protein down here, which there's nothing right now. Drinks, I just have some iced tea and some cold press, and prepared food. There's not a lot down there. This is some cream cheese, and these are the cheesecake bites. Over here on the door, it's mostly a breakdown of my condiments. I have the PB&J condiments, sandwich condiments, cooking condiments, and other condiments, and then buttermilk and other beverage that I can't really, that needs to stand up or that's too big to go on the bottom. I don't want to roll around. He's after my microphone is what he's after. This puffball right here is what he wants. Something very similar with my freezer as well. I sort of have it split up into categories. I don't have it labeled though, but everything in this row is chicken, is beef, is pork, and then this row is sort of the, again, prepared food. There's mashed potatoes, there's a little bit of cheesecake, some freezer soup. Up top I have the sort of popsicles and smoothie section, but this is kind of really what I'm all about. This is all saved for stock. I have pork bones. These are actually chicken bones from a half a chicken takeout that I did. There's still flavor in those bones. This is I think this actually came from a turkey. Parmesan cheese rinds gives a really nice umami flavor out. Loose cheese rinds. Let's see, beef knuckle bones from way back when I did that stock episode. And what else do I have in here? This is good because I even forgot what I have in here. A ham bone. And on the door, I usually keep things that don't need to stay that cold. Ice packs don't go bad. These are chilled glasses I have for smoking cocktails. This is the chicken Kiev compound butter that I made back for the chicken Kiev video. If you haven't seen that yet, I'll put that right up here. And then if you want to know more about making stock, that's going right here.